In the dim glow of his childhood bedroom, Logan Thompson stared at the charred remnants scattered across his desk, his heart pounding as he realized what they were: the ashes of the only photo he had with Jamie, the one his father must have found and burned. The acrid smell of smoke still lingered in the air, a stark reminder that even in their quiet suburban town of Oak Ridge, Illinois, secrets like his could ignite destruction. As tears welled up, Logan clenched his fists, knowing this wasn't just about a picture, it was his father's declaration of war on who he truly was. Logan had always known he was different, but it wasn't until college that he found the words to describe it. Growing up as the son of Oak Ridge's police chief, Robert Thompson, meant living under a microscope of expectations. Robert was a pillar of the community, a no-nonsense lawman who preached family values and traditional morals at every town hall meeting. Logan, with his quiet demeanor and love for literature, often felt like an outsider in his own home. His mother, Linda, was the buffer, a gentle schoolteacher who tried to bridge the gap between her husband's rigid worldview and her son's sensitive soul. But even she couldn't fully understand the storm brewing inside Logan. It was during his sophomore year at the University of Chicago that Logan met Jamie Rivera. Jamie was everything Logan wasn't: outgoing, confident, and unapologetically himself. A graphic design major with a flair for activism, Jamie had grown up in a more progressive part of the city, where being gay wasn't a scandal but a part of life. Their first encounter was at a campus LGBTQ+ alliance meeting, where Jamie was speaking passionately about equal rights. Logan, attending for the first time, sat in the back, his palms sweaty. After the talk, Jamie approached him with a warm smile. "Hey, you look like you could use a friend here." "I'm Jamie. Wanna grab coffee?" Logan hesitated, but something in Jamie's eyes made him say yes. Their coffee date turned into hours of conversation, spilling into late-night walks around the quad. Jamie shared stories of his coming out, the support from his family, and the challenges of navigating a world that wasn't always kind. Logan listened, envious and inspired. For the first time, he opened up about his fears, about his father's expectations, and the pressure to fit into a mold that felt wrong. Jamie didn't judge. He just held Logan's hand under the table, a simple gesture that sent sparks through Logan's veins. Over the next months, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. Stolen kisses in hidden corners, whispered promises under starry skies. It was a love that made Logan feel alive. But reality intruded when summer break approached. Logan dreaded going home to Oak Ridge, a town where whispers about the Thompsons were as common as Friday night football games. He confided in Jamie, who suggested they take a photo together, something tangible to hold on to during the separation. They posed in front of Lake Michigan, arms around each other, smiles genuine and full of hope. Logan printed it and hid it in his journal, a secret talisman. Back in Oak Ridge, life resumed its predictable rhythm. Logan worked part-time at the local library, avoiding his father's probing questions about college life. Robert was busier than ever, dealing with a rise in community tensions over a proposed pride event in nearby Chicago that some locals feared would spill over. At dinner one evening, Robert ranted about it. "These parades are just excuses for indecency. We don't need that nonsense here in Oak Ridge." Logan's stomach churned, but he stayed silent, picking at his food. Linda noticed his withdrawal. "Sweetheart, is everything okay? You seem distant." Logan shrugged it off, but inside he was torn. He wanted to tell her about Jamie, to share the joy that had entered his life. But fear held him back. What if she told his father? What if it shattered their family? As weeks passed, Logan and Jamie kept in touch through texts and calls, their conversations a lifeline. Jamie encouraged him to come out when he was ready, but Logan wasn't sure he ever would be. Then, one weekend, Jamie surprised him by driving down for a visit. They met in a secluded park outside town, where Logan felt safe enough to be himself. They talked for hours, laughing and dreaming about a future together. It was during this visit that Logan realized he couldn't hide forever. He needed to face his truth. But fate intervened. That night, as Logan sneaked back home, he found his room ransacked. His journal was open on the desk, the photo missing. Panic surged through him. He confronted his mother the next morning, but she denied knowing anything. It had to be his father. Robert had always been suspicious, often lecturing Logan about manly pursuits and steering clear of anything he deemed effeminate. The confrontation came that evening. Robert sat in his study, polishing his badge, when Logan burst in. "Dad, where is it? Where's the photo?" Robert looked up, his face hardening. "What photo, son?" Logan's voice trembled. "The one of me and Jamie. You burned it, didn't you?" Robert's eyes narrowed. "I don't know what you're talking about, but if there was something like that, it had no place in this house." Logan felt a rage he had never known. "You had no right. That's my life, my choice." Robert stood, his voice booming. "Your choice? To disgrace this family? I'm the police chief, Logan. People look up to me. What would they think if they knew my son was one of them?" The words hung in the air like a slap. Logan recoiled, tears streaming. "One of them? Is that how you see me? A disgrace?" Linda entered, drawn by the shouting. "What's going on?" Robert pointed at Logan. "Your son thinks he's gay, and he's got some boyfriend." Linda gasped, turning to Logan. "Is that true?" Logan nodded, defiant. "Yes, Mom. I love Jamie. He's the best thing that's happened to me." The room erupted. Robert paced, muttering about how he had failed as a father. Linda tried to mediate, but the damage was done. That night, Logan packed a bag and left for Chicago, crashing at Jamie's apartment. Jamie held him as he sobbed, promising they would get through it together. But the fallout was just beginning. Word spread in Oak Ridge, fueled by Robert's position. Neighbors whispered, and Logan's old friends distanced themselves. Even at the library, his boss suggested he take some time off. The town, once a safe haven, now felt like a cage. Meanwhile, Robert grappled with his actions. He had found the photo while looking for something else, and in a fit of anger and fear, he had burned it. Now regret gnawed at him. Was he protecting his family or destroying it? In the weeks that followed, Logan immersed himself in city life, finding solace in Jamie's world. Chicago was a stark contrast to Oak Ridge, vibrant, diverse, and accepting. They attended pride events, where Logan saw couples like them holding hands openly. It was liberating, but the ache of his fractured family lingered. Jamie was patient, encouraging Logan to reach out. "Maybe give your dad time. People can change." But change seemed impossible. Back in Oak Ridge, Robert threw himself into work, cracking down on minor infractions as if to assert control over a life spinning out of his grasp. Linda pleaded with him to call Logan. "He's our son, Robert. We can't lose him." Robert grunted. He made his choice. But at night, he stared at old family photos, wondering where it all went wrong. The turning point came when a local scandal erupted. A young man in Oak Ridge was arrested for public indecency after being caught kissing his boyfriend in a park. The incident made headlines, with Robert leading the charge. Conservative groups praised him, but progressives decried it as homophobia. Logan saw the news online and felt a surge of anger. That could have been me and Jamie. He decided to act. With Jamie's help, Logan wrote an op-ed for a Chicago newspaper, detailing his story anonymously at first, but then deciding to use his name. Growing up gay in a police chief's shadow hit like a bombshell. It described the burned photo, the rejection, and the societal pressures in small-town America. The piece went viral, drawing national attention. Oak Ridge buzzed with controversy. Some residents supported Robert, calling Logan ungrateful. Others, especially younger ones, rallied for change, organizing a small pride vigil. Robert faced backlash at work, with calls for his resignation. His superiors questioned his impartiality. In a heated town meeting, a resident confronted him. "Chief Thompson, how can you enforce the law fairly when you can't accept your own son?" Robert stormed out, but the words haunted him. He confided in Linda. "I thought I was doing the right thing, protecting him from a hard life." Linda sighed. "By burning his happiness? You need to make this right." Logan, meanwhile, received messages from strangers sharing similar stories. It empowered him but also exhausted him. Jamie noticed the toll. You don't have to fight every battle alone. Logan smiled weakly. But if not me, who? The conflict escalated when Robert showed up unannounced at Jamie's apartment. Logan opened the door, shock freezing him in place. Dad? What are you doing here? Robert looked older, weary. Can we talk? Jamie excused himself, giving them space. They sat awkwardly in the living room. Robert cleared his throat. I read your article. Logan crossed his arms. And? Robert sighed. I was wrong. Burning that photo, it was a mistake. I was scared, angry. I didn't know how to handle it. Logan's eyes widened. Scared? Of what? Robert looked down. Of losing you. Of what people would say. But mostly of not understanding. I spent my life upholding the law, but I forgot about love. Tears flowed as they talked for hours. Robert admitted his biases, shaped by his upbringing in a conservative era. Logan shared his pain, the years of hiding. It wasn't forgiveness overnight, but a start. Yet, societal pressures didn't vanish. Back in Oak Ridge, the arrested young man sued the department, claiming discrimination. Robert testified, but his testimony was nuanced, acknowledging potential bias. Cost him allies, but gained him respect from unexpected quarters. Logan and Jamie visited home tentatively. Linda welcomed them warmly, but tensions simmered. At a family dinner, Robert asked Jamie about his work, trying awkwardly to connect. Jamie responded graciously, sensing the effort. But not everyone was on board. Robert's brother, Uncle Mike, a staunch conservative, cut ties, calling it a betrayal of family values. The town divided, with debates raging on social media and in coffee shops. Logan found himself at the center of it all, questioning his choices. Had exposing his story helped or hurt? Jamie reassured him. Change is messy but necessary. As summer turned to fall, Logan returned to school, stronger but scarred. He and Jamie grew closer, their bond tested and fortified. The academic year brought new challenges. Logan joined activist groups, channeling his experiences into advocacy. He spoke at panels, sharing his story to inspire others. Jamie designed posters for events, their collaboration a blend of love and purpose. But fame from the op-ed brought trolls. Hate mail arrived, accusing Logan of destroying his father's career. One message read, "You should be ashamed, tearing down a good man for your perversion." It shook Logan, making him doubt. Jamie held him. They're wrong. You're brave. But the words lingered, fueling internal conflict. In Oak Ridge, Robert faced a recall election. Opponents painted him as outdated, using Logan's story as ammunition. Supporters defended his record. The campaign was brutal, with yard signs proclaiming traditional values or equality for all. Linda campaigned tirelessly, but the stress showed. Robert reached out to Logan. Son, I need your advice. Logan was surprised. My advice? Robert nodded over the phone. How do I show I've changed? Logan paused. Actions, Dad. Support the Pride event. Reluctantly, Robert attended a local LGBTQ+ forum, listening to stories similar to Logan's. He spoke briefly. I've made mistakes, but I'm learning. The crowd was skeptical, but it was a step. The election loomed, tensions high. Then, a twist. The arrested young man's case revealed police misconduct unrelated to sexuality, but Robert's initial handling was scrutinized. He admitted fault publicly, vowing reforms. Logan watched from afar, conflicted. Part of him wanted his father to win to prove change possible. Another part resented the years of pain. Jamie suggested a visit. Let's go home. Face it together. They drove to Oak Ridge, arriving amid campaign frenzy. Robert greeted them stiffly, but gratitude shone in his eyes. Thanks for coming. At a rally, Logan stood beside his father, a silent show of support. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Is that the son? Robert's speech addressed it. My family has taught me more than any badge. Love isn't conditional. The moment went viral, shifting public opinion. Robert won by a narrow margin, but the victory was bittersweet. Post-election, family dynamics shifted. Thanksgiving brought awkward but genuine conversations. Uncle Mike showed up unexpectedly, confrontation brewing. "You've gone soft, Robert. Embracing this lifestyle?" Robert stood firm. "It's not a lifestyle. It's my son's life." The argument escalated, Mike storming out. Logan felt guilty. "I'm sorry, Dad." Robert shook his head. "Don't be. It's his loss." As winter set in, Logan and Jamie planned a future. Graduation approached, dreams of moving to a bigger city. But roots pulled Logan back. He considered teaching in Oak Ridge, fostering change from within. A new conflict arose when Jamie received a job offer in New York. It was his dream but meant separation. Logan encouraged him. "Go. Well, make it work." But doubt crept in. Was their love strong enough? They discussed it endlessly, emotions raw. Jamie worried about leaving Logan vulnerable. Logan feared losing him. In a tearful moment, Jamie proposed staying. "No, you deserve this." The decision hung, testing their commitment. Spring brought renewal but also turmoil. Jamie accepted the New York job, planning long distance. Logan supported it outwardly, but inwardly insecurity gnawed. What if distance eroded their bond? What if Oak Ridge's pull kept him stuck? Robert noticed during a visit. "You seem troubled, son." Logan opened up about the move. Robert listened, then shared. "Your mother and I were long distance once. Takes work, but if it's real, it survives." The advice surprised Logan, signaling growth. But societal debates intensified nationally, with laws affecting LGBTQ+ rights. Oak Ridge felt the ripple with protests for and against. Logan organized a town workshop on inclusivity, inviting Jamie to speak virtually. It drew a mixed crowd, some hostile. A heckler shouted, "This is brainwashing." Robert, attending, intervened calmly. "Let them speak. Respect differs opinions." The event sparked dialogue, but also backlash. Vandalism hit the library, anti-gay slurs painted on walls. Robert investigated personally, determined to show impartiality. Logan felt empowered, but exhausted. Jamie sensed it over calls. "Come to New York for a weekend. Recharge." The trip was a revelation. New York's energy invigorated Logan, showing possibilities beyond Oak Ridge. They explored, reaffirming their love. But returning home, Logan faced a dilemma. Stay and fight, or leave for a fresh start. Linda confided her fears. "I worry about you here. The town isn't ready." Logan nodded. "But if I leave, who changes it?" The climax built when a national news outlet interviewed the family. Robert spoke candidly about his journey from rejection to acceptance. Logan shared his pain and hope. The piece humanized the issue, but invited criticism. Conservatives accused Robert of pandering. Progressives questioned his sincerity. Uncle Mike reappeared, offering an olive branch, but with conditions. Accept the family way or stay out. Robert refused. Family isn't about conditions. As graduation neared, Logan decided to move to New York with Jamie, but commit to visiting Oak Ridge often. It was a compromise, blending roots and dreams. The move was emotional. Packing, Logan found an old photo album. Flipping through, he saw happier times. Robert helped load the car. "I'm proud of you, son." Logan hugged him. "Thanks, Dad, for changing." Jamie and Logan drove off, a new chapter beginning. Settling in New York, Logan and Jamie built a life together. Logan pursued a master's in education, aiming to teach inclusively. Jamie thrived in design, creating campaigns for LGBTQ+ causes. Their apartment became a haven, filled with laughter and love. But distance from Oak Ridge tested bonds. Holidays brought reunions where progress showed. Robert joined a PFLAG group, supporting other parents. Linda hosted inclusive book clubs. Yet old wounds surfaced. During one visit, a community debate over school curriculum included LGBTQ+ topics. Robert advocated for inclusion, facing opposition from former allies. Logan spoke up, his voice steady. The debate turned heated, with accusations flying. A resident claimed, "This will confuse our kids." Logan countered, "Hiding truth confuses more." Robert backed him, but it strained relationships. Uncle Mike disowned them publicly, fueling town gossip. Logan questioned if change was worth the cost. Jamie reminded him, every step matters. As years passed, condensed in memory, Logan reflected on the burned photo. It symbolized loss, but also catalyst for growth. Now, established in their careers, Logan and Jamie considered marriage. Proposing in Central Park, Jamie knelt. "Will you?" Logan said yes, tears of joy. The wedding in Oak Ridge was symbolic, attended by a mix of supporters. Robert walked Logan down the aisle, a poignant moment. Speeches highlighted journeys, from ashes to acceptance. But not all endings are tidy. Some townsfolk boycotted, whispers persisting. Uncle Mike sent a regretful note, but reconciliation eluded. Logan pondered the path. Had the burned photo been a curse or blessing in disguise? In the end, love prevailed, but at what price? Was the father's initial act of burning the photo ultimately justified as a wake-up call for family change, true or false?